Guys are on it. We've voted. It's gone through. Let's get on with it. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Right. Rupert, you're up. Parks unit update.
So that's the trolley race.
Waiting patiently there, you have been.
Difficult act to follow.
Yeah, we're going to take the report as read in the interest of time, and we have some staff here available if there's any pressing questions.
Right. Sarah.
Thanks so much. It's not in the report, but how's the planning for the new children's playground at the Botanic Gardens going? Because when I walked past this morning, it's really run down and well past its... I know I checked on the LTP, and there's planning, but there's $200,000 planning budget for this financial year, and the build starts next year, is what we're expecting. It'd be great to get an update on that.
Sure, I don't have the update with you on hand, but I can get you something.
Yeah. Be good to see that. If you can get something in the meantime, sort of soonish, and then
Absolutely. I'll
include
come
it
back
in the
to
next
you.
report as well.
Yep.
Next question. Tyler.
Cool. Couple quick ones. Kia ora, guys. You're going to go local today. Thanks so much for that. And I just wanted to first of all ask about how the new unit's going in terms of their agility and being able to actively manage maintenance.
Thank you. That's one of the probably the positives that we've seen since we started. The number of compliments and also the communication from elected members from here in this room and also in the community boards and resident groups has been fantastic. So it allows us to, within the program, be much more responsive than we were with the contracted model where we had already prescribed and agreed to pay for a set service. So it's been good.
Great. Couple of quick local ones. Taggart Park, they'd love an urban forest, and they've been back and forth with rangers.
Sorry, what part was it?
Taggart, I'll send it to you. And Harrington don't like the wildflowers, so you probably heard about that already.
That's good.
But other parks do. Stockburn Park is another one. It gets mowed over because you don't know it's wildflowers. So there you go. 3 things. Cheers.
Thank you.
Andre.
Thank you very much. Shout out on behalf of some areas I've heard have never looked better around our parks. Just on, you said to provide some commentary around resourcing for areas that may have been underestimated in the amount of time it's going to take, areas with swales, slopes, stormwater basins, etc.
Yeah, I think we took a reasonably cautious approach at the start. We didn't want to overstaff the service right at the start, and we are learning through different areas. So we will be looking at a different approach probably in your space in terms of looking at efficiencies and more staff on.
In short, more staff on.
Correct.
And in terms of, are you starting to catch up on service requests you've received?
Yeah, I think we're making steady improvements throughout. The guys are very new to the area, so we're learning a lot in the improvement. We're trending in the right direction.
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you're doing. It's outstanding. We've got a community board meeting and a site visit to Purao Reserve, so really looking forward to that. So thank you for that, and looking forward to next year. But most of all, Paul, to you and your team, we're going into the fire season, and so all thinking of you and your teams, and thank you so much for the work that you guys do. Cheers.
Cheers,
Tyrone.
Yeah, thanks guys for the work that's going on in the Burwood Water team. Have done a fantastic job there. I just have a question about the Horseshoe Lake Regional Park, which is at the top of the red zone. It's actually included in the red zone area, but as Dave Little told me yesterday, is a regional park. I just wonder if someone could contact me so that I can understand what that means a little better.
Yeah, sure, no worries. We'll get the team onto that one.
Cheers.
Thank you, Tyrone.
Just a couple of things. In the blink it in your miss it section, page 8 of the report notes the toilets at Devotional's boat ramp. So thank you so much for the quick turnaround on that. That's the feedback on that has been overwhelmingly positive. Just noting that Littleton's misspelt there in the same paragraph. So
apologies.
It wouldn't be being me if I didn't point that out. And just also to say, there's not a day that goes by on Banks Peninsula when
you don't talk about it.
When Paul Devlin is not spoken
mentioned,
about
absolutely,
in the best tones. And I just want to thank Paul for all the work that he's done out there.
Mark, please, and Celeste.
Thank you. So I'm picking that your teams are now up on top of the regular routines around the park mowing and stuff after the initial problems we had with the long grass. The other thing that I got contacted about was about overgrown grass and weeds in shrubbery. Is that something that teams are able to,
Absolutely.
revisit?
As the season changes, we shift gear into different areas. As the grass starts to burn off and dry off, then we can focus onto the gardening and catch up onto that aspect.
Yep, that's good. And one of the, I guess, focuses that would be keen to work with the team on is of course, Cole Park. And did have a really good conversation with Toby recently around that. So
Good.
Keen to keep that conversation going. Also want to just publicly thank your team. I got a good response in my email today from a neighbour of Denton Park, where we've just removed a bunch of trouble trees, and they were just singing your praises. So thank you.
Excellent. Celeste.
Thank you.
I'd just like to start by thanking Paul and his team. We regularly get sort of incredibly positive feedback about the work of the community parks and the regional park rangers. So I just want to start with that. So appreciate all the work you guys are doing. I have a question around the in-house maintenance stuff, because as we know, there was a bit of a few teething issues in terms of there was a lack of maintenance of gardens and other things in some of our key parks. And we've got one of the second biggest parks, Rafferty Domain, that's second to Hickley Park. So things kind of fell off there a bit. So I can't see much information, because when we zoom in on page 167, you can't actually see the breakdown. Are we able to get more detailed updates about how that transition is going through the community board?
Through the community board? Yeah, absolutely. I'm
And I
sure we
think
can
probably-
touch on that when we meet with them.
Yeah,
Yep.
because otherwise we don't really have any visibility of how that's tracking and whether, because we wouldn't want to see that, we're moving in-house, but actually what we're doing is asking staff to do more with less. So we'd like to make sure that we've got good eyes on that. And then the final thing would be around the biodiversity stuff. Is there any updates on where that's tracking in terms of, there was a number of things that were put through the long-term plan. So we've got things like the working group coming up and so forth. Are there any updates in that space?
I think we've got the terms of reference coming to you. We're just trying to fit in before Christmas. So I believe that's coming early in the new year.
Okay, great, thank you.
Tyler.
Cool. Kia ora, guys. Next one. I'm not sure if it's Nige or if it's you guys in regards to, sorry, mate, in regards to basketball courts. I've had some St Thomas's students and Riccarton High students talk about the heights of the basketball hoops themselves and how they're inaccessible to the younger siblings. And I'm wondering if we have anything around our procurement models in which we actually explicitly ask them to be higher than regular heights, which is 10 foot in comparison to what they are at the moment, which is around 10.5. Do we have anything around that in terms of how we set what the height should be at the basketball courts?
Should be regulation. That's what I would think.
Okay.
I'm going to chase that one up because it's a frustration of mine as well. So leave that one with me.
No worries. No, that's cool. Appreciate that. And the next one is in the long-term plan, it might have been the annual plan 22-23. I was asking around provisions around accessibility for soccer nets and basketball hoop nets, predominantly around the ones that are popular ones. I wouldn't want them to be in every single basketball hoop around the city. I'm wondering if we might be able to get some movement on that and maybe select some things around the area that are frequented, and maybe when you're doing your maintenance, you might want to chuck up a net when you can. I don't know how easy that is, so I'd love to get something back. That'd be great.
Pauline. Yanni. And
Thank
then
you.
it's
I was just wondering if there was any update on the Takapaniki Reserve becoming a national reserve, and I guess also if we've approached central government for funding or other philanthropic funders. Obviously, it's a very significant reserve, and it's listed under regional parks, but it should be a national park.
Yep. So we know the process we need to follow for that change, and we have talked to the local head of operations for the Department of Conservation about it. So there's no barriers in its way other than the co-governance team wants to progress slowly with it. Now that we've got the funding and the LTP, we want to see that all those aspirations met. There are a few snags potentially with the change and gazettal to it. it's still an aspiration that everybody wants to achieve. We've just got to try and tease out some of the implications of that. So it's not on the high priority for the co-governance group to achieve yet. What is meeting the milestones for the development plan. So
I'm concerned that we've got a national reserve that we're fully funding, that government should be contributing to, as should other philanthropic funders. I mean, they've just opened a visitor centre in Punakaiki that they put tens of millions of dollars into. Why are we not approaching central government for funding on a national reserve?
Well, it's not a national reserve at this stage.
It's not a national reserve.
It's been declared that is our intent, and that is the process that we've had going for over 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know that there's been the request to implement that yet. It was to look into it, and so that's the process that has been underway, is determining what the process is, and so that is happening.
And I do know the MP is looking at it as well.
Yeah, so I don't doubt that one day it's highly likely that that will be the end outcome. At this stage, we're focused on delivering the LTP work for it. I know that Anuku are also looking at other funding opportunities so that it's not just the Bank of Council coming out of it.
Okay, I'm happy to move this, and Pauline's happy to second it.
No debate.
No debate.
Can I
No,
just-
this is
what an outstanding
fantastic. It is very,
report.
very good, and it's good to see all the reserves and stuff around town. You know, if you're trying to keep the city like my wife tries to keep her garden at home, you do it. You know, it's a hell of a job, and you'll always have people that will say, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" But generally, it's fantastic. And Paul, good work. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Righto, Nigel. Oh, put that aye. Thank you. Against? No, that's carried. Pardon? Apparently, there's plants now, garden. Okay, so we are going to stop at 12:30. Is that right? For an hour.